At the time I started, not many people were on social media. 2019, 2020. I feel like now it's easier for you to get into it because all your friends are online, doing this thing. At that point, people thought that you need to have some level of, you need to get to a certain point. There was a certain demographics that you should fit before you can be a content creator.
From cold emails that convert to blogs that rank and sell, Joy Ogide isn't another freelancer. She's the strategist behind some of the best performing content in the digital space. Years back, she was coding robots in Mechatronics engineering.
Why did you feel like yours resulted into you speaking writing?
It has something to do with the kind of things I was reading earlier. Right? So I read a lot of fiction, and something about fiction is it plays with your mind on a daily basis, right? I constantly need to solve problems. I constantly need to think fast, to proffer solutions to my clients. And yes, everything just works together for my good because I can just see how they intertwined and made me.
And behind it all, a woman with a laptop, a sharp mind, and a quiet fire the internet didn't see coming. Joy Ogide.
What gives you that level of confidence to know that, okay, I have my target population and you're not them? I don't need your money.
People come to me and say, oh, I want to buy your course, but before I buy, can I ask you a question?
Hello guys, do you know that 95.7% of people that visit our channel are not yet subscribed? Leaves us with only 4.3% of subscriber. That's a 0.9 increase since the last time we started creating. Please, your subscription does us a world of good. It helps us create better and invite better guests. Please like, share and subscribe to what we do here. And that's the only favor me and my team will ever ask of you. Thank you. The stories we tell ourselves have a way of quickly becoming our reality. Welcome to Talks About You, a story about self. And today, we're sharing one of the most interesting story you are going to come across on the internet space right now. And it's a story about believing in one ability to write to make an impact. That you could write and people could feel something from what you're writing, emotionally or just a profound impact. And I'm talking to no other person than the beautiful Joy Ogide herself. How you doing?
I'm very fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
It means the world to me and my team that are here. So if I could go back to like the very beginning where all this starts from, what do I need to understand about you, about your journey?
About my journey, going back to how far back?
If I know you, like, let's say when you're 4.
Oh, that's really far back.
Yeah, that's far back. That's how far back we want to take it.
Okay, all right. So 4-year-old Joy, right? So I was always a calm child. I was always a very calm kid. It doesn't help that, or maybe it helps that I was the last born. I am the last born. So I was always in my space. Last child, just doing my thing, always in a corner. And then I loved to read a lot. So if there's one thing you'd pick from 4-year-old Joy, it is that she loved to read. I started reading really early, right? From the basic, children books, that had simple letters and words that you could put together. But I really enjoyed them. Yeah. So I would say 4-year-old Joy was a very deep reader that was calm in her space. I was never a troublesome child. Yeah. So that's what to know about me.
So when you say you love to read, academia or just self-taught?
Oh, I read everything. I read academia. I read fiction. I wasn't motivating anything, so I didn't read any form of motivational book. But yeah, fiction, basic stories. Yeah.
Okay. So as you grew older, how did the reading impact you as a person?
Oh wow, it really did, right? So going from that 4-year-old child to becoming a teenager and then later on an advanced teenager, all of those things, I didn't drop my reading habits. I didn't ever drop my reading habit. It actually became like a competition to me, right? So my dad would, so when I was younger, right, I would. I was a brilliant child. I was a
You are
brilliant
still a
student.
brilliant. No,
I
was
am no,
you are
okay.
still a
I am
brilliant
still
child.
a brilliant student. Thank you. But yeah, I'm saying in terms of how they would give positions in class, I was always coming first position. And one of my motivations for coming first position was that I knew my dad was going to take me to a bookstore and get me a book.
Book.
So my reward for getting first position was a book, an ice cream, but a book. And I was really very particular about the book. And so growing up, I always grew with that whole reading. So I developed a reading culture quite early. And it helped me because as I grew, I still continued to read. I probably migrated to more self-help, motivational books. But yeah, the reading culture just remained. And it did help me, especially with what I do. It helped me with writing, seeing a lot of words. I knew a lot of words, because I was reading widely.
So, I mean, when you speak about you reading and you see a lot of words, I know like people that speak well,
Yeah.
people that are eloquent, people that write well, they have a very wide range of knowledge base. Why did you think? Why did you feel like yours resulted into you speaking writing, not speaking?
Okay. Well, I would say it did both. I would say it also affected my speaking, but maybe the writing is more dominant than the
Speaking,
speaking.
yeah.
Yeah, and why is that? Okay, I think it has something to do with the kind of things I was reading earlier, right? So I read a lot of fiction, and something about fiction is very, it plays with your mind. If you write fiction, if you read fiction, you can almost put yourself in the position of the writer. Okay. And so the more fiction I got to read, the more I got to, I loved the play of words. I love how, this person could weave words together and they form something that just makes you imagine yourself in the situation. So I just wanted to do more like those people that were, helping people imagine more.
So that's where writing started from.
That's where writing started from. Yeah.
Around what age was this?
I think this maybe I'll say 12, 13, early teens.
Started writing already.
I started writing, yes. I think I wrote a book. I wrote a fic. I think everybody did write a book at some point.
No,
Okay,
not
sorry.
everybody.
Okay. Maybe not everybody.
Yeah.
But people that read a lot, that were kind of, I think they attempted to write a book. I did. I wrote like 3 books.
At 13.
Yes, novels, like normal stories, of course, boring. Maybe they weren't boring at that time, but basic fiction. I wrote like 3 of them and just kept them. And my dad was very proud of me. He was like, "Oh, aren't you going to? We'll publish them. We'll publish them." I never got to publish them, but yeah, I think that just helped me. That just helped me.
But you did mechatronics, electronic,
Yes.
engineering,
Yeah, mechatronics engineering.
mechatronics engineering.
Yeah.
Why?
That's a good question. Why did I study mechatronics
Yeah,
engineering?
because you sounded like you started writing earlier
Yeah,
from the story you
and
just shared.
yeah, and a lot of people would see me and automatically assume that I'm an art student. They're like, "Oh, what did you study? Probably linguistics or maybe something to do with writing." And I'm like, "No, thinking." And then engineering is the last thing that comes to their mind, but it's what I did. So why did I study engineering? So one of the things I picked up as I was picking up my love for books was my love for math, right? I loved math a lot growing up. It was very easy for me to solve. You know how in school, in secondary school, people were running away from math, but I was running toward math. I just loved it, right? And so, to be honest, I think I was very fast in my decision. And I would say I didn't think it twice. I didn't think it over, right? I just went straight. I went with the flow. I loved math. I wrote my exams. I passed everything at once. What was a course you could study that was related to math and maybe even a deeper kind of math? And it was like engineering. So I was like, you know what, I'll study engineering. And I just went for it.
Looking back in hindsight, do you think you going for that helped your drive as a writer?
Do I think studying engineering helped my drive?
As a writer?
Yes, I think there are a lot of things I picked in the course of studying engineering that has definitely helped me as a writer. Yeah.
What are those things?
Okay. So first off, as an engineer, right, one of the things you need to do as an engineering student is think really fast, right? You'd be writing an exam and there are formulas in front of you that if you miss a single symbol, it's all gone. So you need to have quick memory, you need to think fast, you need to solve problems, right? And these are things I picked up as an engineering student. Now, coming into my world as a writer, these are things I do on a daily basis, right? I constantly need to solve problems. I constantly need to think fast, to proffer solutions to my clients. And yes, everything just works together for my good because I can just see how they intertwined and made me a better writer in general.
Yeah, you sound like it comes from a place of passion, but something else to drive the passion. Like, take us back to when you started writing at 13, like, and you are in uni, you have to do mechatronics engineering. Were you trying to prove something to yourself, or were you just trying to show, like, okay, I can write and I can actually provide services that is going to help people?
Okay, so I think 13, writing at 13 was a hobby. 14, all of those things I was just going with what I loved. But when I really started to go deeper, that was toward my final year. I think that was 2019. That was my final year, 2019. That was when I started to go deeper into this thing. And the question, what really drove me, I was like, I just wanted to know how far I could go with this thing I was doing for fun. I had done this thing as a hobby for a long time, but I knew there's probably no more to this, right? And I just wanted to know how much more there was. So it was curiosity. I was curious. I wanted to see what this thing could turn out to become. That was what drove me.
And those curiosity, what are the places those curiosity first led you to?
Led me to...
in terms of, if you're curious about, I want to become a better writer, what are the things it made you realize starting your journey out as a writer?
Maybe you have to rephrase the question. I'm guessing
you said you actually wanted to move from an hobby to doing it the way you're doing it professionally. And that comes about you being curious about, this thing I've been doing for fun. There have to be a way I can make it more intense, more serious, and use it to provide a service. What did you find out? What did those curiosity make you find out for me to transit from an hobby to writing professionally? What are the things you found out in that?
Okay, I found out a lot of things. First off, I found out that it wasn't so easy. Doing it as a hobby is way easier.
We all find out.
I'm telling you, it's way easier than doing it professionally, right?
Yeah.
There's so much more than just, I love to write. That's not enough. That's just the foundation, right?
Because that's moved from being a talent to being a job.
Exactly. It has.
So what are the things you think you needed to put in place? I'm asking this because of the people that are going to be listening to this. You have a community of young writers that look up to you.
Okay.
So what are the things you really needed to put in place for you to make that transition happen?
All right. First of all, first things first. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah, audacity. We lack a lot of it.
I know, right? So that was, and remember, going back to my childhood, I just mentioned that I was a shy kid. I was calm. I was in my space. Going back to my childhood, I was a shy kid. I was calm. I was always in my space, right? So coming from that place of, I'm shy, to a place where I needed to be putting myself out, that was a big leap for me. That was a very big leap for me. I don't think people understand because a lot of people are more open to showing up, showing themselves up. But for me, that was a big leap. So that's one of the things I would say, because I knew that if I was going to keep quiet, if I was going to close my mouth and just, you know what, let me just write, I will see what all happens, that was going to make me very small. That was going to limit me. And I didn't want that.
Where did you think that come from? Like, because, most of the people that are going to be watching this are people that have similar background and upbringing or have similar interest to what you do.
Yeah.
Where did you think that come from? Do you think it's more of like the way we are brought up, home training?
Okay, you mean like
we always been timid, not thinking we need to put ourselves out there enough. What do you think is mostly responsible for that?
I think some people just have a naturally calm temperament, right? not everybody is going to be out there showing themselves up, being in the camera. Some people just are reserved. I don't know if...
But a closed mouth have never really do anything great.
True.
So,
true.
I think that's one of the things we lack as people, like young people.
Yeah.
Because, Nigeria is going to have the highest population of young adults workforce in 2050. Because that's how young we are. And I think one of the problems we have is we are good enough, but we don't know how to speak in terms of it.
Yeah, we don't know how to speak
about it.
About what we do.
And you have been able to overcome that. I just wanted to look back in hindsight. Do you think it's more of like the way we are raised, or is a confidence problem? Or I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Well, for me, I do not think it's the way I was raised, because I do have a sister who is the exact opposite of me. And we were raised by the same parents.
So she's confident.
Yeah, she's confident. She was more ready to put herself out at the younger than me, right? I was always considering things in 10,000 places before I move, right? So I don't really think it's the way we were raised. I really stand with the fact that it's probably temperament. It was just how I was naturally.
So what was the shift like from you having the confidence that, yeah, I'm good at what I do, I need to make people realize that, okay, I'm here to stay?
Yeah.
What was that shift like?
Okay, what was the shift like? Like I said, it was tough. It was difficult for me to start doing that because, first off, at the time I started, not many people were on social media.
How long ago was that?
Around that 2019. When I mean we're on social media, you know how right now there's a lot of content creators, people are putting themselves, everybody's vlogging their daily life, and I feel like now it's easier for you to get into it because all your friends are online, doing this thing. Yeah, so it's easy now. But 2019, 2020, people were more, it was difficult. I feel like at that point, people thought that you need to have some level of, you need to get to a certain point. There was a certain demographics that you should fit before you can be a content creator, or you can show up. Yes, or you can show up online. So that thing was just there. So people would want to, but they would have to, compare. Oh, I'm not up to that yet. So in that space, me coming online, bringing myself, this is a shy person, coming online, bringing myself up there, that was something else. But I just had to start. I think I just stood up one day and started, right? But actually, I wouldn't say I just stood up one day and started. You know how as you're living life, you are picking up a couple of things and they're all piling up. And at the end of the day, they form the decisions you make. So I think a lot of things might have contributed low-key to the decision. For instance, I read a lot of books. I have read a lot of books. And I'm sure in one of those books, I might have read something about grit, go get it, do what you have to do. And so I feel like all those things might have just contributed. And then one day I woke up and moved. But I didn't just wake up and move. I had moved a long time ago when I was doing all of those things. Yeah.
Because we tend to know things that we don't understand. So when we read things that we understand about what we know, it just pushes us to go.
True. That's true.
So you had your motion from building your knowledge.
Yes, I did. That was the motion.
So, but when you started and you go, there's this early rejections that come with it.
Oof.
That people constantly. I don't think it's because you're not good enough. I used to say it.
Yeah.
I just think it's just normal. People just constantly tell you no. How did you deal with that?
Well, is there a way? I think the way to deal with that, I think that's one of the things that you deal with by facing square on, right? You deal with rejection by facing rejection, because in life you are always going to get rejections. You're not everybody's spec. You can't fit into everybody's criteria, right? So definitely there are people that would not want you, right? So rejections is just something you factor into whatever it is you're doing in life. So that's just how I dealt with it. I mean, it was tough. It was emotionally, tough for me because I had to deal with a lot of imposter syndrome. Am I good enough? Maybe I'm not as good as I think I am. Maybe I shouldn't really be here. Questions like that. But I had to deal with that early,
I don't think that one particularly go away, the imposter syndrome.
Yeah, they don't. That doesn't go away, right?
It doesn't go away. Days you still question what you do.
True.
we all still question what we do
True.
and
I
why
mean,
we do it.
yeah, and even I think the further you go in life, right, you even have bigger questions about, oh, am I really supposed to be here? So you're right. I don't think it truly goes away completely.
But you being a writer,
Mm.
you must have had to write for people that have to do with you digging deep about stuff like purpose, drive, and you facing rejection. How do you write those things? Like, where do you go to when you want to write stuff like that?
Stuff about rejection.
Yes.
When I want to write content about rejection, where do I go to?
Do you go to your experiences or do you just try and be like,
Yes, I go to my experiences a lot because I experienced rejections a lot.
is there one that comes to mind when we're talking about rejection?
There are a lot of them, but I remember very clearly that there was a particular day that, because as a writer, I send out a lot of pitches. I reach out to people a lot,
Through
right?
writing, so.
Through writing, yes, through writing. I write emails, or enter their DMs or something. But I reach out to a lot of people, right? I feel like that's even basic as a writer starting out. You need to reach out before eventually people start reaching out to you, right? But
across all fields, I don't think it's as a writer. I mean, you are not.
Yeah.
You have to,
yeah, generally, right?
Yeah,
you need to put yourself
embarrassment
out.
is the cost of entry.
Thank you very much. So that was it. So I think that I did a lot of that. So starting out, I had to pitch a lot. I had to reach out to different people. And I've said this before. One day, I remember I woke up that day and I'm like, I am going to send out as many pitches as I can. I sent out 100 pitches that day. 100. I counted. I sat down. It was a Saturday. I remember when I sent out 100 pitches. Guess what? Out of the 100 pitches I sent, I only got 2 responses, 2 replies. And the 2 of them were a negative response.
But you know that is normal.
Do I know that is normal? Like getting, what part of it?
That you got only 2 responses from 100.
Yeah, that's normal actually.
But we as human beings think it's not normal. I think
True.
it's the wrong thing.
True.
Because for you to have a success rate, for you to be successful at anything, you must have tried like a 95% at a failure rate. So sending out 100 and getting 2 negative responses is actually equal. If you want to get like 5 responses, you have to send like 150.
True. Okay, that makes
That's
sense.
the logic to be behind it.
That makes sense. And I can see that more as I grow. But imagine me at that point, I was very disappointed. That was one of the points where I wanted to quit because I waited and waited and nobody reached out back to me. It was just 2 people and they were negative responses. So I was like, maybe I'm not really called for this thing.
How did you move on from that?
How did I move on from that? By sending another set of pictures.
I like that.
That's how I moved on from that.
How many more did you follow up with?
I can't say. I lost count. I stopped counting. I just started
bombarding
sending
everybody.
Pictures, and what that did for me is when I would get the emails, the response, right, back from the clients, and they'll be like, oh, unfortunately, thank you so much for reaching out, unfortunately, and all of those things. When I'll get them, immediately my mood will switch and I'll be so, that was before, but when I attempted it a couple of times, those emails were very normal to me. So as you're telling me thank you very much, I'm like, nah, you're not for me, next. And I'm going to the next thing. And it was just very easy for me to move on, right?
Because you're in the flow now.
Yes, I was in the flow of rejection.
No, I mean, it's the funny thing is the flow of rejection that leads to your first freelance swing.
Exactly.
So looking at you going from that flow to your first freelance swing.
Yeah.
How did that feel?
Wow. It felt good. Like the very first time I remember exactly. Of course, I don't think you forget those things. Those are like very they're like pointer moments. So I remember it was rewarding. Felt rewarding. Felt like finally.
Take us back to the moment.
Okay, so it was actually, now this my very first win was from an Australian client, and guess what? He reached out to me.
Wow.
Yes.
After all the reaching out,
to so many people, the first real freelance,
you were actually headhunted.
Yes, he reached out to me and he's like, "Oh, hi, Joy. I just saw something you wrote, and I'd like you to write the same thing for me." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, "Oh, sure." And he hopped on and offered me $500 at the time. And it was
magic.
It was magic to me because
you didn't negotiate for more.
I did not. right?
Okay.
I did not, because I felt like this was too good to be true, to be honest, right? I was like, no, this is not happening. $500. Did you understand? First of all, the fact that it was a foreign client, then the fact that it was a sizable amount of money for me as a beginner. So all of those things just made me very elated about the whole thing. I was very happy. And so I just jumped on it. And that was a big break. I remember I told everybody, I called my mom. I'm like, hey, I've got it
You've
was
gotten my
so
first
good.
big
I'm
break.
telling you, it was a great place to be at, right? It was a good feeling.
So, looking back in hindsight,
Mm.
do you think there was something a part of you? If you look at that version of yourself now, do you think there was something you think she should have done better in those moments to get to that win, or when that win eventually came?
Yeah, I think I actually started to put out myself late, right? I know I said I reached out to people a lot and I did that, but I think somehow I started to do that late, kind of, especially with social media, right? I don't think I rode on the wings of social media early enough, because I was always skeptical about social media, putting myself out. So I wasted a lot of time. It was eventually around 2021 that I started to put myself on social media. And that was a big deal. Like, that was a whole switch in my career, putting myself out on social media. So yes, I think if there's something I should have done earlier, it would be putting out myself faster earlier on social media.
What do you think that version should have celebrated more?
Or version.
The version of you that got to the first win.
What should I have celebrated more?
Yeah, because I think you were in a flow then. I'm not sure you will have really celebrated it.
No, I didn't celebrate it.
Why?
Celebrate my flow of rejection.
No. Getting to the first clients coming in, getting your first freelance job.
Yeah,
Did you celebrate it?
I did.
How did you celebrate it?
Well, by calling everyone and telling them. Everyone that means a lot to me. I was calling them, I was sharing, oh, I did this, I finally did this. Yeah, I think it was more of a personal celebration because it was personal to me.
Because it was motivating for you.
Yes, because it was motivating to me. Yeah.
So now let's look at the writing industry.
All right.
Now you're fully in it.
I am fully in it.
Knowing what you know, what do you think anybody that's trying to get into the industry, what do you think they should know first?
What they should know. You're trying to get into the writing industry. What should you know first? Like I said, the first thing I think you should do is put yourself out. Without question, without doubt, because it can be tough, especially now where there are a lot of people doing the same thing, right? A lot of people are revolving around that and trying to brand themselves as professionals. And so you might be sitting in your house thinking, I'm not even anywhere near this, and then you are restricting yourself. But I think putting yourself out is the first thing you should do. To be honest, that's the first thing you should do. Is it right?
But if you're looking to put yourself out as a person in any space, one of the questions that comes to mind is, how do I protect my own originality? Or how do I stay true to self?
Okay.
How are you able to figure that out?
How do you stay true to self? Okay, that makes sense, because I mean, people always say, oh, maybe have a mentor, have someone that you're looking up to, and then it's very easy for you to follow exactly what they do. I feel like that's a question you should answer for yourself. When you look at yourself, there's always something that stands out for you. There's always something that stands out for you. For me, what stands out for me every time I want to teach is that I just love to share knowledge. To be honest, if I know something, I am excited to tell the next person about it. And so it became my stronghold. It became something that I held on to, right? So I love to share knowledge. I love to get people to know what I know. How can I leverage this thing to show people that I am a good writer? And so that's what even led to me starting to put out video content on the internet. Before it was just written, but then I started to put out video content, started to share tips and tricks, how-tos, share things that could actually show people what I do and how to do what I do. So I think that was my own originality, right? I know recently I asked I released the course recently and people bought the course. And one of the things I asked in my course, I asked them, what comes to your mind when you see joy on your screen? When I pop up on your Instagram or YouTube, or when you see me, what comes to your mind? And I asked them that question. And I didn't even remember. I didn't expect them to. But surprisingly, a lot of people reached out to me and were texting and they were responding. And then they had this similar. Everybody
Same.
was
Yeah, I was
saying,
about to ask you that.
yeah,
How do you feel when everybody's saying the most thing that they can relate to is how you break things down?
yes.
How how are you able to break it down the way you break it down?
Well, I don't even know. I feel like okay, so there's this guy I respect a lot. I learned something from him. Like I learned a part of my writing from him, and he told me. I remember he was one of the people that pushed me to actually start putting myself out, and he told me you have a uniqueness. Do you know like you have a unique talent of making people understand things better. And I'm like, I don't see that. I think he's like, you might feel like everybody can do this thing you can do, but it's not like that, right? So I think it's something. Should I say it's inborn? I don't know if it's inborn, but I know it's just something unique to me. I have a way of okay, you understand this thing. I'll break it down to the level everyone can understand. I think
Yeah, I think
it's
it's a
just there.
gift. Everybody listening when you speak.
Yeah, it's probably a gift. I don't know. It's probably something I just have.
So how do you protect that in this competitive market?
I protect it by not protecting it. Honestly, I protect it by not hoarding it. So that's the thing, right? A lot of people right now they want to hoard information. They want to be like, oh, I know this thing, and I don't think so many people should know the same thing that I know. If I give out this information, who knows what's going to happen? Who knows the next? Maybe someone else will collect my job from me or something. And that's something I don't do, right? I am very liberal. I'm very liberal with information. And I find that the more I talk to people about things very openly, the more credible I am to them. So I've kind of built trust with my audience, and people that come to me know, okay, she's going to tell us the truth. If she's in it, I can believe her, I can trust her word. Right. So that's how I've been able to protect it.
You have helped so many writers find their way in this industry.
I have.
What is the most rewarding part of that to you?
The most rewarding part recently, I mentioned earlier that I released the course recently. And I released this course not because I was looking for what to do. I wanted to make money. Of course, those are side, yeah, but that was not the main thing. The main reason I released the course was that so many people had come to ask me, oh, I really want to do this. I really want to do this. How can I learn this? And deep in me, I was just very disturbed. I knew that I probably have a solution that so many people are looking for. So why should I keep it inside? That was one of the major push for me to release that course. And I released this course, and then so many people bought the course, right? Now, particularly someone reached out to me. Someone reached out to me and told me that she had just, of course, I got a lot of testimonials from that, but one particularly told me how she was just beginning, but somehow she had just landed a job that pays her $800 monthly as a beginner. And she was explaining to me privately how she had been through a lot. She had a lot of financial problems before that, and that buying my course was like a last resort. You know what? Let me just do this, and she did it, and boom. So to me, that was like, I did that for you. Like that knowing that I had that impact, I was a part of someone's
Story.
success story. It's the most fulfilling thing ever. So that's all that matters. That's all that matters, really.
Yeah, because in a world, in an industry where people values virality, showing of incomes online, you try to stay away from that, and you still have to, and you still are very relevant and very powerful
Yeah.
with your writing.
Mm.
How do you somehow sustain that in the middle of all this? Like that's what I'm trying to understand.
I feel like less is more, to be very honest, everywhere in every industry. So if you come out and you're like, oh, I make $20,000 a month, I do this, I work with this person, and then people are like, and at some point, and you know how these days, right? There are so many ads, so many things going. If you go online, everybody's like, how to make this, how to make that, and it's so common. So putting yourself in that, if that's what the routine you want to take, it's just you joining the common. It's like joining what's already existing. So when I mean you bring out your own uniqueness, it means that you do something different from what every other person is doing. So standing out right? People are showing off what they get, and you decide, me, I'm not. I'm what I am doing is showing you how to do what I do. So that breeds a kind of curiosity in you, and you become curious, and you're like, let me know. So I'm not the one showing you what I do. It's now speaking for itself. You
Process.
understand? So that's like how I managed to stay.
I like the way you explain that, but I kind of have a question in that.
Okay.
People are more interested in buying your process these days than buying what you do. And when you look at social media, it has enabled that. When you make posts about, maybe let me use what we do as a company for an example.
Yeah.
We are an agricultural company. When you make posts like, we sell eggs, people will not like it. But when you go back and show them like you are making
How you
feeds,
sell the egg,
how you set up, they will like that. So does that bother you? Like people are more interested in my process, not the contents that I write.
I get it. So for me, I have two categories, two types
Different
of
niche.
audience.
Yeah.
Audience two. So I have people that come to me because they want to learn what I do, and then I have people that come to me because they want to use my service. They don't care how I do what I do. They just want to use my service. But I feel like it all boils down to credibility, right? So in that process, I am focusing more on showing you my process, how I do this, and by doing that, it is somehow building a credibility for my incoming clients. Because when people come to my page or come meet me anywhere or see me, they can see my process is open for everyone to see. So that makes them trust me more. And in doing that, I am feeding this other audience that are coming for my services. So I'm not bothered by it at all.
So you feel like you provide service and it develops you as a person.
Yes, exactly. You can see that.
So it's a win-win for you.
It's a win-win.
Wow.
It's a win-win situation.
That's nice. You were one of the first people that had to prove that African writers can earn globally. You're one of the very first writers that were in forefront of that. But my question is, what do you think is next for the industry, like the writers?
That's a very deep question. So first, I would say something around originality, right? Right now, AI is doing a lot. AI is doing a lot, and it is taking out the originality, and that's just kind of messing with the entire industry, especially one like writing. Do you understand? Literally, you can go online and say, oh, I want to write a blog post about this, blah blah blah, give me a 500, and you give ChatGPT a good prompt and they'll give you a greatly written article, but it always misses something.
It's not human felt.
Yes, it always misses the emotions. It always misses that, you can always feel
Human
when
connection.
someone is talking to you. Yeah, and so that is what I think, that's one of the things I think is the next thing for us. I feel like we need to go back to that originality, find a way. I'm not saying AI is not good. AI is great. Use AI. But I feel like find a way to still maintain your humanity, maintain your emotions, while you smartly use AI to facilitate whatever it is you're doing. Right? So that's one thing that I think is really pressing for us to do. Another thing I would say, so the African market, right, is growing. The African global market is growing. So a lot of Africans are becoming aware, oh, I can actually enter into this market. But I feel like in the process of doing that, they might be undercharging. They might be undercharging.
I mean, it's interesting when you mention that, because I used to say it all the time. Like I've said it a couple of times. I feel money is one thing we don't talk about in Africa unless there's a lack of it. We don't know how to talk about money. So is there like a price cap when it comes to writing? Or is there something like, or you just charge based on, I don't know these things.
Basically, let me tie it back to the originality, right? Because I feel like originality is priceless. Once you know what you are doing, so that's the main thing. A lot of people want to jump the process. They want to skip, take one or two, watch one or two YouTube videos, read one or two articles, and before you know it, they're like, I'm a professional writer, and then they are jumping to look for money. But when you follow the process and you can tell, okay, this is this, and you grow through the process, you'd see yourself getting results. You see people doing things because of what you've helped them do. You understand? When you grow through that process, you are more confident in yourself. You're building yourself. And it's that confidence that helps you price the right way. right? Because when you stand and say, this is what I'm going to charge, you're standing on business because you know the impact of what you're going to
Right.
what you're going to write, you know the worth of what you're going to give to your client. So you stand on business, right? So people should start talking about money more, but importantly, people should also develop themselves more. They should put effort into going back to the books to go and really develop themselves, develop the skills that they need to be great writers.
Yeah, and you're talking about pricing, and you're talking about value. Value is determined by who is buying. I say it all the
True,
time
true, true.
because I, from my experience in business, you can
Mm,
try to sell the same thing at two different prices. It depends on the buyer
true.
and depends on your own ability to put value on what
Yeah,
you're selling.
yeah.
So, what do you think in terms of that? Are we undercharging as African writers?
First off, what's our market? Who are we selling to? It's very important because a lot of people are selling to people that don't know the worth of their services. So that automatically makes you undercharge because if you sell to someone that doesn't know the worth of your service, they'll say, what is this? It's not writing, I can write, everybody can write, ChatGPT can write, why do I need you? And you already, back to the confidence, you're already doubting yourself because you don't really know the worth of what you're doing. So you're like, yeah, he's right though, he can actually go to ChatGPT and get it. And it makes you just settle and say, okay, you know what, I'll take that. And you settle, right? So it all goes back to you knowing that you building yourself to the point where you have confidence.
Conviction.
Yeah, you know that this is what I can do and this is what I can get you. It all goes back to that point.
So, as a young writer, once you build yourself,
Yeah.
you should have a value point for what your work is, and you should
Yes.
not go below that. That's what you're saying. Because I feel like a lot of young writers are going to deal with the same thing you mentioned. A lot of people are going to throw AI at their face
Yeah.
just to make them feel like they have no bargaining
Yeah.
power.
Yeah. I mean, at the start of it, there are always compromises to be made. At the start of it, you can always compromise. I did a lot of free work starting, right? I did a lot of free work. I got scammed. I'll do work for someone and then they will say, and I'll not hear from them again. And I'll so there's a lot of compromises and you cannot remove that factor. It's a part of it. So I wouldn't say you should have a price and stand with it. No, especially because of the country we are in, right? Especially because of the country we are in. Because I don't even want to go to that conversation, but it's a whole it's a whole different ball game. Because you see people say, oh sorry, we don't hire Nigerians. Or
Really? In big
yes.
2025.
Yes. Right? You see there are
Like they put
certain
it in writing
companies.
that we don't hire
Yeah, we don't
Nigerians.
hire Africans, they are, or to make it seem fair, they'll just list a couple of countries that they hire from and you will not see Nigeria there. So you know that they don't hire from they don't hire from your country. So this is something we have to deal with because of the country we live in. So there's that compromise we made and say, okay, there are sometimes okay, this is what I charge usually, but the circumstances surrounding this project, I can calm down a bit. So I'm not saying have a fixed price and stand on your ground, especially when you're just starting out, right? You're going to starve. You're going to starve. You need to know when to, have a balance. Know when to go low, know when to stay there, know when to go high. Have a balance.
I mean, it's interesting now that you're talking about starving, and at the end of the day, there's this popular saying that, like I said, our talent should be able to put food on the table,
Mm,
unless it's just a waste of talent.
true.
So, how were you able to deal with all the pressures, you personally, that comes with, oh, I have bills to pay, I'm a freelance writer,
Yeah.
and some days I don't know where the next gig is coming from.
Yeah.
For young writers that want to come into this,
How are you able to deal with
yeah,
it? Okay. So, okay, speaking from the standpoint of what I was going to say, let me still say it, right? I would say that diversifying your income is something that would really help you. Diversifying your income. And by that I mean, so you're a writer, great. But what else can you do aside writing? And I'm not saying go outside the borders of writing. You can still be a writer. Well, in that writing, what else do you do? Right? For instance, I write, but I do like 4 or 5 other things that are within the same writing.
that understands.
Okay, so I write. Then from my writing, I started to create content about my writing. And that led me to have a YouTube channel after so much pressure, I started a YouTube channel, which is currently monetized. That pays me. That's a source of income, right? Then from the same writing, I decided to create a course. So that means automatically I do marketing and sales for my course. That also pays me, right? On the side, I do content creation. So brands have started to reach out to me. So there's partnerships, and so that also pays me. So you can see how all of these things are still connected to the fact that I write, right? So I would say for someone starting out, that's a way that you can deal with that pressure of, oh, you're a freelancer, which is very true. You're a freelancer. You don't know when your next gig is coming. When your next gig is coming, you don't know what you're dealing with. So there's a lot of pressure involved. So something you can do to deal with that is diversify. As you're writing, while you're waiting for the clients to start coming from this, you can go to something else. Even if it doesn't start paying immediately, there's something that comes from fulfillment. For instance, if you love to, you're writing and you love to talk and you start creating content, you start talking to people, right? Even if that content creation isn't paying you at the moment, right? There's this fulfillment that it brings you. And sometimes that fulfillment is like, it's really enough. You just like, I did this today. I helped this much people. Do you understand? And while you're doing that, you're building one or two other things. And before you know it, money is no longer the problem. Yeah.
You have other things you need to focus on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, why saying this is easy to say because of where we are at now. You're in a good place with writing and everything. And people that are going to be watching it are trying to get into the space you are. But I'm sure there are some industry, like, how do I want to put it? Some industry truth about writing that you yourself, you had to challenge and you're like, nah, if you people believe this about writing, it's not for me. I want to write my own way and I want to create my own path. What are some of those truths that you had to like?
Let's talk about the fact that there were these very dominant platforms, Upwork and Fiverr, right? When I started writing, a lot of people were veering towards Upwork and Fiverr, and they wanted to, they believed that was like the only place you could get clients from and all of that. And I've never liked any of those platforms. I went
you
there.
Just believe those truths.
I didn't believe it. I was like, what do you mean it's only
the way?
right? What do you mean this is what so when I went there and I didn't believe, I'm like, no, I have to find another, there must be another way. And so that was how I went to LinkedIn, and LinkedIn is a way better place to find clients and all that than all those people. I went to LinkedIn, then I started social media, reaching out to people personally, and targeted marketing. All of these things were doing better than Upwork and Fiverr for me. So I decided, why use what everybody's using just because I think that's the best way.
You challenge that truth and it actually worked for you.
Yes, exactly. That's it.
Okay, thank you for sharing all this with me. I'm sure a young writer out there is going to really find this very interesting and important to guide them. And it's just a story about you, and we're happy. So there's this challenge I'm trying to like get you to do.
Okay.
Let's imagine like for the young writers, like imagine you are them. You are starting over again. You wake up, different city. No one knows your name. No laptop, no smartphone. 0 naira. Just a pen and a notepad. You have 60 days to make your first 50,000 again. Have 10 customers that trust your brand again. And find an international freelance gig.
In 60 days?
Yeah, what could you do day by day? What are you going to do day by day?
Did you say no smartphone? No
smartphone. You just have a notepad. Just a notepad and your pen to write.
Like a physical notepad and a pen to write.
What do you do day by day?
I mean, if there was a smartphone, I promise this would have been way easier because if I have a phone...
Okay, let's make it more interesting.
Yeah.
It's 2025. Everybody have a smartphone and a pen. So a smartphone and a pen.
I have a smartphone. Thank you so much for adding that option for me. So I have a smartphone. I have data.
Definitely.
What? If I have a smartphone and I have data, 60 days is too much, right? I'm telling you though, like...
Okay, what are you going to do in 30 days?
Okay, wait, are you saying I have the same knowledge I have now?
Yeah, you have the same knowledge you have now. You have a
now.
smartphone, but you don't have your name to back it up.
I don't have my name to back it up. Nobody knows me.
No, yeah.
Okay, so let's get started. First things first. I'll open my smartphone and I'm going to download LinkedIn. Number one, LinkedIn, right?
You
So
seem to love this space.
I love LinkedIn. Everybody knows me. I always talk about LinkedIn a lot. So 2 social media platforms. That's the first thing I'll do. I'll get 2 social media platforms. LinkedIn and any other social media platform. For me, it will be Instagram because I prefer it, but it could be anything for anybody,
TikTok.
right? It could be TikTok, YouTube, Twitter, X, sorry, any of those things. But for me, it will be LinkedIn and
Any other one.
Instagram.
Okay.
Just get 2 social media platforms. And then I'm going to start a marathon, right? I will draft a content calendar. I'll draft a content calendar and say, every day, this is what I'm putting out. This is what I'm putting out. So I'm putting out strategic content with the aim to show people what I do. That's something I would show you what I do, right? And then you might say, oh, you don't have clients
When
yet.
you say in terms of show, you show them the process of how you write, or just your writing abilities.
Yeah, I'm thinking now because you said I don't have, I'm kind of limited, right? In the things I have.
The name is not behind it.
The name is not behind
the
it.
swagger is not
Yeah,
behind
to show,
it.
so to.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, okay, you know what? I'll start a challenge. I'll go online and start a 30 days challenge and say, I'll make it public and say, I have 30 days to make
Audacity marketing.
$100,000. $100,000. Okay, let's stay with Naira. Should we stay with Naira?
Anyone.
Okay, I have 30 days to make $1,000, and this is a really critical challenge. Let's see how far I get. Stay with me. And then I'll say, day one, this is the challenge for day one. So today is day one of my 30-day challenge. And for today, my task is that I'm reaching out to 5 agencies, 5 CEOs that I think I can work with and trying to rebrand them. That's my challenge. I'll put it out on LinkedIn, put it out on Instagram, and then I'll reach out to the people. At the end of the day, I'll come back. I'll tell you this was my report. This is what happened for the 5 people I reached out. I'm tagging them. I'm being intentional. I'm mentioning so that you are aware of what's going on. Day 2, I bring up day 2 challenge. I put it out. If I do that for 10 days, do that for 15 days, it's going to start getting a lot of traction, right? And then from there, obviously, I'm good at what I do already. So people will see that I'm good at what I do. And then they're going to reach out to me. And I'm sure I'll make more than that money in 30 days.
Wow.
Yes, that's what I'll do.
You have ability to make it simple though. You really simplify that.
Hey, thank you. Yep.
So
let me answer the first one. I like that challenge of no computer, no smartphone.
you like that one?
Yes, I want to answer that one.
Okay.
No smartphone, no computer, just my notepad and my pen. It's 2025, right? Good. What I would do is that I would physically go to my target audience that are around me, right? So for instance, let's say I write beauty content. I'll go to salons, hair salons, spas. I'll go to beauty parlor. I'll go to everything beauty that I can find around me. I will go and meet you and say, hello, do you have a website? Do you know that if you have a website, I'll try to talk to, because I don't have a smartphone, I'll talk you into, if I do that every day and I target a certain number of people and do it to them, I'm pretty sure, yeah. Plus, I have my marketing skills that I've picked up. I already have all my skills, so I'm sure it will be easy for me to break into that market.
I like the way you answered the question, and it leads me to my one of my last questions on this.
Right.
Because I know we've been talking for a while, even though we've been fine. I've really learned a lot, and I enjoy it.
Yeah. Thank you. Happy to hear.
What do grit and grace at the same time look like for you at ground zero? Let's say, we're talking about there's no notepad, there's all these things, that's like we at ground zero again. What does grit and grace look like?
Grit and grace look like at ground zero.
Yeah.
Okay. I feel like, first off, it's a mindset thing. I already have. I don't know how. Like I said, I'll go back and pick the books that I've been reading since. I'll go back and pick the things that I've been doing over time that have compounded and formed this thing. But I would say that I already have a mindset that, you know what, this poverty thing is not for me.
Me too.
This low life thing is not for me. This mediocre thing is not for me. It's already in my mindset. Right? So I would go back running with. I feel like that thing already gives you a push. You can't just sleep normally. You can't do the things normal people do because you're working with a target. There's like a silent clock in your head.
You don't need an alarm clock.
You don't need it. Something is telling you there's no time. You're going off. You need to do this. And then with that urgency in me, that's enough grit. That gives me enough grit. Like that gives me enough grit to know I'm going after this thing and I'm going to get it. Right? Yeah. So that's something I
So
would
how do you
say.
give yourself grace in the middle? That's where the grace is coming from. You
Okay.
know, when it comes to grace, sometimes if it's not managed very well, it leads to burnout. And that's why people say that, oh, I'm burnt out in
Yeah.
this season.
Yeah.
How do you give yourself grace in the middle of all that?
It's very important to take breaks. It's very important. And I wasn't doing that before, but that was one of my goals for 2025. I now take quarterly breaks
Have you been
every
able to
quarter.
achieve them?
I am. I'm currently on it. I am. And I still have one planned out for September, which is the third quarter or the fourth quarter. But breaks are very important because if you go at it so much, at some point you're just going to break down. If you don't take a break, you're going to break down.
Why
So
did you make it a goal? Did you break down at some point?
I
What
did
led
break
to
down.
that?
There was just too much going on. So there's so much going on. You have unfinished projects, you have deadlines by the corner, you're trying to work on other things aside work, trying to make all ends meet at the same time, and it's just crazy. And sometimes I think I even fell
Sometimes
sick at
you're
some
just
point.
a girl.
I felt sick. I actually fell sick at some point, and I said, you know what? We are going to have to take a
Quarterly
very
breaks.
good break, So it's very important. If you don't take breaks, you're just going to break down. Yeah, so it's something I incorporate there. So that's where grace comes in. You're not I know that you want to get this done. I know that you want to be the best at what you do, but come on, life happens and there are things that you can't control. There are things that are beyond your control. And when they come in, there are factors you can't just see. When they happen, what do you do? So give yourself the grace to know that those things can come in at any point and you can always readjust. What's the worst that could happen? If you fail, you get up again and you keep going. Right? There's something my pastor always says. He says, if the if the milk is spilled, the cow is still alive, more milk can always be made. So even if I lose everything and I'm like, oh my god, I'm starting from there's nothing, I am the cow.
You can make more.
I can always make more milk. Right? So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing those with me. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see a lot of things that resonate on different levels with different people.
Thank you.
And we like to end most of these segments with words on the streets.
Oh,
Like,
okay.
that's what people say about you on social media. Social media now is the streets.
Oh,
I think the
okay.
most comments we've seen about you on social media is like you're a gift. You have the ability to
Ooh,
break things down. You have
that
the
feels
ability to
so
break
good.
things down in a way
Yeah.
most people can't.
Oh.
What do you think is the most word on the street that you've seen about what you do that you know it doesn't represent you in any form or way? It doesn't represent you as a person and what you do. Like, people have a way of throwing things around on social media and you be like, is that me? Like, you're dead sure, like, this one is
Are
not
these
me.
good things or
No, both ways. It can be both ways.
it can be both good things or
Yeah.
bad
It's
things?
just a story about you, just for you to tell your own story from your own point of view.
Yeah, well, I feel like I think I've started gaining some sort of popularity, and those kind of things bring hate. They do bring hate when people see you, especially when maybe they're jealous or something, and they can't get to where you are, and so they just want. So I've seen some comments on my channels that are that are hate filled, and if somebody I made a post, okay, because I one thing I do is I'm very consistent. With my YouTube channel, especially if I have posting dates on my YouTube channel and I stick to time. Okay? So I posted a video on YouTube one time and I was so surprised. I came and checked someone commented on my video and said, Joy, you don't look you look tired. she was like, you look tired, you look straight. Are you resting at all? I hope you're not chasing money too much that you're forgetting to rest. Try and take care of yourself. And I'm like, you could tell that this thing is not coming from a point of
Love.
love. It's coming from. And when I actually went back to check the person's page. I'm like, who is this? And I saw that the person is actually trying to do something like what I
What I
do,
do.
but she's not meeting up to.
She's not
And so
popular.
she's probably projecting her
Insecurities.
on me. And I'm like, what is this? So I've started to see a lot of people come and drop some hate comments. But I mean, it's fine.
And the love. What do you bask? Like, what do you enjoy most?
What do I enjoy most?
Yeah,
Like, what comments do I enjoy?
more.
Well, I love when people tell me that I have an impact in their lives. I love when people come and say, oh, because I read your book, because I took your course, because I saw your video, I achieved this.
I mean, when we were doing our findings, me and my team, we knew that because I saw a comment, and that was what led us to finding out about that. Somebody said, "You are straightforward," and I'm like, why is this person coming online to say she's straightforward? So we had to do our findings on you. Then we realized you once told someone that came to you that they wanted to buy your book, but they were an established writer already, and you told them like the book is not really going to give them much because it's for people that are starting out.
How did you find this out? I am
We have our
surprised.
ways and we have our days.
Okay,
So
okay.
the question there is, what gives you that level of confidence to know that okay, I have my target population and you're not them? I don't need your money.
Like I said, it was never about money for me. Money is about money, but that's not the
Yeah, I get it.
primary.
I use it like I like money so much, but there are some things I can say I've never done for money too at the
Thank
same
you.
time.
Yeah, so
So
I
it's not
think
really about the money.
yes, it was about helping someone out. So why would I let you buy something that is not going to help you? People come to me and say, "Oh, I want to buy your course, but before I buy, can I ask you a question?" And they ask, and I'll tell them, "Don't buy you. It's not for you." Do you understand? Because it's not your money. Your money, if you, I think I prefer to protect my integrity over getting your money. If you buy it and it's not what you need, you still be the same person to come online and say, "Oh, Joy did
You
this."
want
Joy,
real estate?
you didn't just say that. You still
They will
come and
call
drag me
you.
online and say, "Oh, I sold something." So what I prefer the moment of integrity. Hold your money. Let me hold my
Let me
integrity.
hold my
Right?
peace.
Let me hold my peace. So yes, I think
Did that make you think like you need to cater for people that are like? Did that make you think like, oh, maybe my next book I need to cater for people that have been doing this for a while?
I mean, thinking about it, right? More of the professionals,
Those
people
people,
that are advanced and they're just looking
yes,
for the next thing.
more
I'm
like a
actually
compass
considering, yeah,
for them.
I'm considering it really like more frequently these days, right? So there might be something brewing soon. Flow. I loved math. I wrote my exams. I passed everything at once. What was a course you could study that was related to math and maybe even a deeper kind of math? And it was like engineering. So I was like, you know what, I'll study engineering, and I just went for it. I just went for it.
Looking back in hindsight, do you think you going for that helped your drive as a writer?
Do I think going studying engineering helped
Helped you
my drive?
as a writer?
Yes, I think there are a lot of things I picked in the course of studying engineering that has definitely helped me as a writer. Yeah.
What are those things?
Okay. So first off, as an engineer, right? I One of the things you need to do as an engineering student is think really fast, right? You'd be writing an exam and there are formulas in front of you that if you miss a single
Help.
symbol, it's all gone. So you need to have quick memory, you need to think fast, you need to solve problems, right? And these are things I picked up as an engineering student. Now, coming into my world as a writer, these are things I do on a daily basis, right? I constantly need to solve problems. I constantly need to think fast, to proffer solutions to my clients. And yes, everything just works together for my good because I can just see how they intertwined and made me a better writer in general.
Yeah, you sound like it comes from a place of passion, but something else to drive the passion. Like, take us back to when you started writing at 13, like, and you are in uni, you have to do mechatronics engineering. Were you trying to prove something to yourself, or were you just trying to show, like, okay, I can write and I can actually provide services that is going to help people?
Okay, so I think 13, writing at 13 was a hobby. 14, all of those things I was just going with
Enjoying
what I
it.
loved. But when I really started to go deeper, that was toward my final year.
What year was that?
I think that was 2019. That was my final year, 2019. That was when I started to go deeper into this thing. And the question, what really drove me, I was like, I just wanted to know how far I could go with this thing I was doing for fun. You know, I had done this thing as a hobby for a long time, but I knew there's probably more to this, right? And I just wanted to know how much more there was. So it was curiosity. I was curious. I wanted to see what this thing could turn out to become. That was what drove me.
And those curiosity, what are the places those curiosity first led you to?
Led me to
In
I
terms of
don't.
if you're curious about, oh, I want to become a better writer, what are the things it made you realize starting your journey out as a writer?
Okay. maybe you have to rephrase the question. I'm
Okay,
getting a
you
bit.
said
Yeah.
you actually wanted to move from an hobby to
Yes.
doing it
Yeah.
the way you're doing it
Yeah.
professionally. And that comes about you being curious about, oh, this thing I've been doing for
Yes.
fun.
Yeah.
There have to be a way I can make it more intense, more
True.
serious, and use it to provide a service. What did you find out? What did those curiosity make you find out for me to transit from an hobby to writing professionally? What are the
Okay.
things you found out in that?
Okay. I found out a lot of things. So, first off, I found out that it wasn't so easy. Doing it as a hobby is way easier.
We all find out.
I'm telling you, it's way easier than doing it professionally,
Professionally,
right?
yeah.
There's so much more than just I love to write. That's not enough.
But
That's just the foundation, right?
it has moved from being a talent to being a job.
Exactly. It has.
So, what are the things you think you needed to put in place? I'm asking this because of the people that are going to be listening to this. You have a community of young writers that look up to you.
Okay.
So, what are the things you really needed to put in place for you to make that transition happen?
All right. First of all, first things first. Closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah, audacity. We lack a lot of it.
I know, right? Remember going back to my childhood, I was a shy kid, I was calm, I was always in my space, right? So coming from that place of, oh, I'm shy, to a place where I needed to be putting myself out. That was a big leap for me. That was a very big leap for me. I don't think people understand because a lot of people are more open to showing up, showing themselves up. But for me, that was a big leap. So that's one of the things I would say because I knew that if I was going to keep quiet, if I was going to close my mouth and just, oh, you know what, let me just write, I will see what all happens, that was going to make me very small. That was going to limit me. And I didn't want that.
Where did you think that come from? Like, because I mean, most of the people that are going to be watching this are people that have similar background and
Yeah.
upbringing or have similar interest to
Okay.
what you do.
Yeah.
Where did you think that come from? Do you think it's more of like the way we are brought up, home training?
Okay, you mean like
We always been timid, not thinking we need to put ourselves out there enough. What do you think
well,
is mostly responsible for that?
I think some people just have a naturally calm temperament, right? Not everybody is going to be out there showing themselves up, being in the camera. Some people just are reserved. I don't know if
But a closed mouth, I've never really done anything great. Like,
true.
so
True.
I think that's one of the things we lack as people, like young people.
Yeah.
Because I mean, Nigeria is going to have the highest population of young adults workforce in 2050. Because that's how young we are. And I think one of the problems we have is we are good enough, but we don't know how to speak in terms of it.
Yeah, we don't know how to speak
About it.
about what we do.
And
That's
you
true.
have been able to overcome that. I just wanted to look at back in hindsight. Do you think it's more of like the way we are raised, or is a confidence problem? Or I'm just trying to get to the bottom of it.
Well, for me, I do not think it's the way I was raised because, I mean, I do have a sister who is the exact opposite of me. And we were raised by the same parents.
So she's confident.
Yeah, she's
and
confident. She was more ready to put herself out at the younger than me, right? I was always considering things in 10,000 places before I move, right? So I don't really think it's the way we were raised. I really stand with the fact that it's probably temperament. It was just how I was naturally.
like, in 5 years' time, what do you think your journey as a writer will represent? That's what I'm trying to get to.
Okay, I think I want to raise other writers like
Doing
myself.
that already. Okay.
I think I want to raise really strong, capable
Army
writers
of
like
writers.
myself. Yes,
That could hold their own anyway.
yes, that's something I am. That's what
Passionate
my 5
about.
years. Yeah, that's what my 5 years timeline should look like.
Why are you passionate about that? You're a strong writer already. Why do you think it's important?
I
Like
know,
there's
right?
more of you.
Right, because it's not really my business. But yes, I think maybe it has something. Maybe it's linked to my calling. I used to say that writing is my calling. Honestly, I don't see writing as a job. I actually see it as a calling. So I feel like I'm not just called to write. I'm called to bring up other writers like myself. So I cannot leave you behind as I'm going. Let's follow me along. Let's go together.
I like the way you call it a calling, and that brings me back to a question I feel I miss.
Yeah.
What's the most impactful piece you think you've written?
Piece I think I've written.
Yeah, because we get a lot of, when we're reading through your comments, we see a lot of comments like, oh, you break this thing down, you've impacted me. And I'm sure you must have gotten more of the testimonials because you are the one on the back end. So what do you think is the most impactful piece you've written? And why do you think that impacts a lot of people?
Because I don't majorly do narrative kind of writing, right? That's a difficult question to answer. My writing is more based on selling, teaching people. When I write, I want to show you, maybe you read a blog post I wrote, I'm showing you something you
How
didn't
to
know
sell.
before, or teaching you, as opposed to narrating, trying to, I don't really do those kinds of writing so much. So that's a difficult question to answer.
Okay, thank you for doing this with me. On that note, we have a closing tradition that we might need you to actually do at the end of all this. You need to leave a question for the next guest. The first guest on this season, so that's why I have a question
That's
for
really
you.
nice.
Thank you for doing this. I had fun.
Thank you. I did as well.